holding time, and vital capacity among different age groups of girls in MP state. Then again, it was hypothesized that there is an athletic performance relationship between athletic performance and psychological variables. The psychological variables such as self-confidence, anxiety, and aggression among different age groups of girls in MP state. Now, what significance of this study? The research would give a scientific foundation and instruction for experts in this sector to develop the training programs for their trainees based on anthropometric, motor fitness, physiological, and psychological variables. Performance of athletes in various tests would provide information to the instructors, allowing them to analyze the athletes' flaws and plan technically instruction to meet their requirements. A slide change. This I have read. Okay. Next slide. Okay. So there is a delimitation was that this study the delimitation was that the age group was between 14 to 18 years, and it was a local in local school of Bhopal from Madhya Pradesh. So this study was confirmed to girls athletes in the age group of 14 to 18 years for various schools of Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh, and the study was delimited to 100 girls athletes. The study was delimited to selected anthropometrical, motor fitness, physiological, and psychological variables. The athletic performance was determined through 600-meter run test performance. And the limitations now. The influence of such factors like regular pattern, diet, rest, recreational activities were considered as limitations. The determinants such as heredity and environment and their impact in overall efficiency of the subject were considered as limitations. Now, selection of the subject, how it was done. The study was designed, predicted the athletic performance on selected anthropometrical, motor fitness, physiological, and psychological variables among different age groups of girls in MP state. To achieve this purpose, 100 girls in the age group of 14 to 18 years from various schools of Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh were selected randomly as subjects. Now, what all selections of variables we took? In anthropometry, we took height, weight, leg length. In motor fitness variables, we took speed, agility, and explosive power. In physiological variables, we took resting pulse rate, breath holding time, vital capacity. In psychological variables, we took self-confidence, anxiety, aggression. And in athletic promoter, we estimated the 100-meter run test for the athlete. Now, athletic performance was 600-meter run test, and which was measured in seconds. Height, we took stadiometer, and which measured in centimeters. Weight, we took weighing machine, which measured in kilograms. And leg length by measuring tape in centimeters. And speed by 50-meter dash in seconds. Explosive by standing broad jump in meters. And agility by 4 into 10-meter shuttle run. In seconds, we took the units. These all are the units. And in resting pulse rate, we took the digital heart rate measuring machine. In the beats per minute, we took. And in breath holding time, we took holding the breath for 1 minute in seconds. And vital capacity, we took digital spirometer in liters. And self-confidence by questionnaire we did. Anxiety and aggression all by questionnaire by Hardy and Nelson. And Spellberger and Puss and Berry. In points, we took all these psychological parameters. Now moving to statistical analysis. By multiple regression method by Thompson and Nelson in 1990, it was used. So we took that method by multiple regression method. We evaluated the data, prediction of data. Now, computation of this descriptive statistical, it is given in the table. As you can see, the height, weight, and leg length. We took the numbers like 100 for all, height 100, weight 100, leg length 100. And we took the mean of these all variables. 100, and we took the mean of that, and by that we by standard deviation, the value came is 2.72, and for weight it came is 2.30, and for leg length it came 2.23, as you can see in the slide. Next slide, please. Okay, now table 3, it showed the descriptive statistics on selected motor fitness variables of the subject. Subjects were the same: speed 100, agility 100, and explosive power 100. And the mean value for speed was 7.05, and agility was 9.07, and explosive power was 2.33. And standard deviation was 0.17, and agility was 0.13, and explosive power was also 0.13. Now the physiological variables of the subject in descriptive statistics was resting pulse rate, the number was same, N was same 100, breath holding time was 100, and vital capacity was also 100. And the mean value for resting pulse rate was 70.88, and breath holding time was 44.61, and vital capacity was 3.25. And standard deviation for resting pulse rate was 1.42, and breath holding capacity was 1.77, and vital capacity was 0.22. And now the psychological variables were self-confidence, anxiety, and aggression. The number was same, 100, and the mean value was 17.51, anxiety 33.43, and aggression, the mean value was 65.96. And standard deviation was 0.98, 1.89 for anxiety, and 1.52 for aggression. Now the correlationship coefficient between athletic performance and the anthropometric variables. The number was same, 100, and the mean value was also same, 159.30. For weight it was 48.61, and the leg length was 89.65. And the R value which came out to be as minus negative value was 0.829, and for weight it was negative value was 0.849, and the leg length was 0.741. And the correlationship between athletic performance and motor fitness were the mean was same, and the number was also same, and the R value was next slide, please. Motor fitness was 0.866. 0.866, 0.961, and 0.569. This was for speed was for 0.866, agility for 0.961, and explosive power for negative value was 0.569. Now the correlationship and coefficient between athletic performance and psychological variables were resting pulse rate, breath holding capacity, and vital capacity. The number were same, 100, and 100, and the mean value was 70.88, and breath holding time 44.61, and vital capacity mean value was 3.25. So our value which came out to be as for resting pulse rate was 0.718, and the breath holding was negative 0.711, and vital capacity was negative value 0.035. Now the coefficient between athletic performance and psychological variables. The psychological variables were self-confidence, anxiety, and aggression. The number was same, 100, and the mean value was 17.51, and for anxiety 33.43, and aggression 65.96. So the R value was negative 0.432, and anxiety was for 0.651, and for aggression 0.584. Now the variable selected for prediction with, next slide, please. Now the variable selected for prediction with beta and T values for model 8 for athletic performance. Now we took beta N value and T test and their significance and their partial relation we find out. So for self-confidence, it was negative 0.432, and the T value was negative 4.74, and significance was 0.00. And the partial relation which we find out was negative 0.432. and the collinearity statistic tolerance was 1. So for speed also, it was beta in value was taken, and it came out to be 0.866, and p value was 17.11, and significance was 0.000, and the partial correlation shape was 0.866, and the tolerance was 1. And for breath holding time, it was negative 0.711, and the t value was negative 11.99, and the significance was 0.0. And then partial correlation was negative 0.711, and the tolerance was 1. For weight, it was negative 0.4849, and the t value was negative 0.15.92, and the significance was 0.00, and the partial correlation was negative 0.849, and the tolerance was 1. And agility, for agility, the beta in value was positive, and it was 0.961, and the t value was 34.49, and the significance was 0.00, and the partial correlation was 0.961, and the tolerance was 1. Now showing on Innova model 8, variables of self-confidence, speed, breath holding time, weight, and agility. Next slide, please. Okay, so showing on Innova for model 8, variable of self-confidence, speed, and breath holding time, weight, and agility. Innova software we took. So the sum of the squares for regression was 1.047, and the DF was 5, and the mean square was 0.21. And the residual was for sum of square was 0.055, and the DF was 9.4, and the mean square was 0.01. And the total is now 1.102 sum of square, and the DF was 99. And by F value, the Innova value was 355.41. Now, okay. Now multiple correlation R square, R square, and R square change, and the significance of the selected predictor variables by backward selectors. So self-confidence, breath holding time, and the weight and agility, the variables were predicted, and the R value was 0.975, and the R square was 0.950. So the F change was 355.41, and by Innova, we find out that 355.41 variable is coming, and the significance of F change was 0.00. Okay. Now the beta unstandardized coefficient constant value and the significant each backward selected variables. The variables were constant self-confidence, speed, breath holding time, weight, and agility. So the constant was negative 1.934, and the self-confident unstandardized beta coefficient was negative 0.005, and the significance was 0.066. And like that, only unstandardized beta coefficient for speed was 0.083, and the significance was 0.003. And speed was 0.083, and the significance was 0.003. And for breath holding time, negative 0.005, and the significance was 0.024. And for weight, the standardized beta coefficient was 0.006, and the significance was 0.004. And for agility, the unstandardized beta coefficient was 0.562, and the significance was 0.00. So now the discussion on the findings, what we did. Next slide, please. And the discussion on the findings. This already done. Now the discussion on the finding. In the present study, the athletic performance of the school girls athletes was predicted through backward regression analysis, and the formula were found as shown below. Now Y1, all the values were calculated, and for Y1, the predicted score was for all calculated x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, and the A constant value. So for x1 for self-confidence, it was negative 0.005x. for x1, and for x2, the speed which we took was 0.083 positive, and for x3 we took breath holding time, which was negative 0.005, and for weight we took negative value 0.006, and for agility we took positive value 0.562, and constant value was negative 1.943, and all were added and the predicted score came out. So in the this already done, and in these findings with the formulated this done. In the view of these findings, the formulated hypothesis, the Y1 calculation all is done now. The self-confidence, speed, breath holding time, weight, agility, and A value, the constant value, which was already shown in the table. So in the view of these findings, the formulated hypothesis that athletic performance of the girls athlete can be predicted successfully from the selected anthropometrical, motor fitness, physiological, and psychological variable, which was accepted, and the level was 0.05 level. So now the conclusion: the athletic performance could be best predicted from psychological variables, which was concluded that self-confidence of the girls athlete, and the athletic performance could be best predicted from motor fitness variable like speed and agility of the girls athlete, which was already predicted from the table. And the athletic performance could be best predicted from physiological variables like breath holding time of the girls athlete. And the athletic performance could be best predicted from anthropometrical variables, weight of the girls athlete, which we have predicted from the table. The variables such as height, leg length, explosive power, resting pulse rate, vital capacity, anxiety, and aggression were excluded variables and considered as not good predictors for athletic performance. Next slide, please. Okay. So now the recommendations. So the prediction equation strong-minded in this research study could be used to choose athlete as various level, and the trainers, athletes, and physical directors might use this predictions equation to determine the athletic performance by this research. Now, suggestion for further researchers. This study may also be conducted on different levels of athlete, such as college level, university level, and state level. Next slide, please.
That's all.
Okay. The researchers is this study might be conducted on different levels of athletes, such as college level, university level, and state level. The contribution of similar variables not covered in this study could be used to predict the athletic performance of girls athlete. Similar researches may be conducted among boys athlete, which we have not done, which we have done on girls athlete.
That's all.
Okay, next slide.
That's all. So over.
Thank you. Completed.
I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back. I'll call you back. Yeah. Uma? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Presentation very nicely. Any discussion regarding things? I request the HOD, the DC members. I request any suggestions, please. Arbugam?
Yes, sir.
Solunga.
Sir, few things, sir. One is a statement of the problem. She was mentioned. Yeah, just ask her to show it. Statement of the problem. Okay, no problem. Where she was mentioning about this result would help us to train the athlete. Right?
Prediction.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
No, the girl study was to predict the athletic performance. State method.
கொஞ்சம் பாருங்க சார். அதுல பார்த்தேன்.
நான் இப்ப வச்சிருக்கேன் கையில. The goal of the study was to predict the peak performance on selected. Predict the
ட்ரைனிங் ஒரு வார்த்தை பார்த்தேன். அதனால அது இருந்தா அது எடுத்து சொல்லிடுங்க.
தப்பா இருக்கு.
ஆமா. Second one. So you have selected so many variables, in terms of physiological variables. What is the difference between breath holding time and one more component, VO to max?
Resting pulse rate, vital capacity, and breath holding time.
Sure. Breath holding time and vital capacity. Right? So, what is the contribution of breath holding time for the prediction? How it is related to performance? Breath holding time. Correct? Got it?
Pratibha, that breath holding time, how it is helping for the athletes prediction? Any idea?
Yes, sir. Actually, for the improvement of this like for anaerobic and all this performance, we can conclude this breath holding time and we took for 1 minute, and in that breath holding time, we are practicing like yoga also for that, how much breath they can hold for in not for endurance performance, but it is partially related to the sprint event. We can like anaerobic performance for we can conclude this.
Yeah, that's good. Actually for the 100
yes,
meters,
correct.
Hold it for
Correct.
That's why they're taking.
Okay. Next one, which variables we left for as backward regression? You have diluted some variables based upon the backward regression. Correct?
Yeah.
Which are the variables you dropped it or you dilute from the main?
Actually, backward regression actually we I am keeping myself. I just
sir, அது பாத்துங்க சார். பேக்வர்ட் ரெக்ரெஷன்ல எந்த வேரியபிள் நம்ம வந்து டெலியூட் பண்றோம், அதுக்கு ரீசன்.
I can understand.
அது another point is you selected variables, correct? Maybe breath holding time or speed or agility. Correct? You are selecting the standardized test. So the test must be selected based upon the R value and what you call this reliability and validity. For example, speed can be measured, speed can be assessed through 20 meters run or the 50 meters run.
50 yards.
Because yes, this test was conducted and it has got high correlation and value conducted by so and so. That is why I selected this test. So I am selecting the test based upon high correlation, high reliability, which was conducted, which was proved by some others.
Some other test,
that would be very, very applicable.
Okay.
Correct, sir?
That should be. It should be
correct, sir.
Reliable and validated test only we are taking.
Yes. You can mention that, sir. So the criterion variable is selected this test because it has got high correlation, high validity, which was established by so and so.
Okay. That will be.
Yes. ஆமா சார். லாஸ்ட்ல சார் இது கன்க்ளூஷன்ல ஒரு 2-3 திங்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ற மாதிரி இருந்தது. கொஞ்சம் பாத்துங்க சார்.
சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிட்டேன், பட் அது தப்பா இருக்கு.
பாத்துங்க சார். அது இல்ல கொஞ்சம் கன்ஃபியூஸ் மட்டும் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கு.
ஓகே.
அது சொல்லிடுங்க சார். Apart from this, I want one general query. See, you selected the variables and you have got so much of review of literature to support your thesis, correct? Pratibha. So,
yes,
and I say, okay, what is your contribution? Because the whatever prediction or you mentioned or you you formulated and you got result, which were all already exist. So, as an athletic coach, what is your new contribution in terms of prediction? For example, anthropometric variable already established. The whatever things you list down are established. And what is your contribution? For example, in anthropometric, I got what you call as instead of leg length or arm length, any other factor which has not covered so far. If you take like this, it would be very beneficial for the researchers and the contribution would be very meaningful. Correct?
Yes,
These
sir.
are all my suggestions. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Kindly. Okay, sir. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you for your suggestion, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Jackson. Jackson.
Sir.
Any other things, your suggestions, Jackson?
Congratulations to the scholar and the guide for the nice presentation, sir. And probably one thing I want to ask, because morning only reached, now only reached, and some disturbances due to that Wi-Fi connections also. And my thing is, what is the reason for selecting the 600 meters to measure the athletic performance?
Yeah, sir.
Actually, this is what my suggestion. Actually, these are girls under 14 to 16, 17 years old. So they can, you have to easy to test for them. Actually, if you have more than 18 years, you can go for the 800 meters on the 600 test is the standard test for the under 14 to 17 years old. That's why we have selected this test for the performance orientation. What is that? Pratibha, any suggestion from your side?
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, all are like high dominance and like 100-meter and sprint. That is very lactic dominance performance, and it can the athlete
Sir,
for the safety point of view.
ma'am, before that, I want to clarify. I want to get the clarification from you that general term of athlete or it is track and field. All the sportsmen or the girls are from athletics. That means track and field or general sports person.
No,
What is the
this is
exact
for this
terminology?
is for the
What you
track.
have athletes you have
This is for
mentioned
the
in your study that you have taken the athletes. The athletes belongs to all the sports and games also. Those who are playing, yeah.
Those who are
So
playing, those who are like 14 to 18 years, but they are not so professional athlete, and they are like normal age school going girls.
no, I
So,
want
but
that
we can.
clarification, ma'am. Sorry for interrupting. I want the clarification whether that girls are sportswomen or the track and field event. Those who are doing the track and field events. The subjects,
No,
100 subjects you have to take in.
not purely track and field. They are going for.
Okay, then it's section.
They are doing
Okay.
general.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well done. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Okay, thank
you. Sir, Jackson சொன்னதுல ஒரு பாயிண்ட் சார். Actually 600 எடுத்திருக்கீங்க இல்லையா? அதுக்கு you have to give some justification. I selected 600 for this purpose. Yes.
Okay, the lactate
yes.
normal.
Yes. Sir, justification is very, very important. அது கொஞ்சம் கொடுத்தா நல்லா இருக்கு சார். அது கொஞ்சம் ஆட் பண்ண சொல்லிருங்க.
Okay,
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Tirumala Kumar. I think it's not very good. Any other suggestion from the hello? Okay, we can finish it. Tirumala Kumar. Hello, Tirumala.
யாரோ பேசுறாங்க பட் நாட் ஆடிபிள். யாரோ பேசுறாங்க யாருன்னு தெரியல.
திருமலை தான் பேசுறாங்க.
அதுல பார்த்தா வியூ பண்ணி பார்த்தா தெரியுமே யார் மைக்ல இருக்காங்க.
அத பார்த்து சொல்லுங்க திருமலை. கிளியரா இல்ல, அது அங்க எடுக்காது, யூனிவர்சிட்டில எடுக்காது, யூனிவர்சிட்டில எடுக்காது. ஹலோ,
சாட் பாக்ஸ் ஓபன் பண்ணி விடுங்க சார். வேணா அதுல
மெசேஜ் போட்டு விட்டாங்க.
டெஸ்ட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க. ஆமா சார், ஆமா.
திருமலை டெக்ஸ்ட்
சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல மெசேஜ் அனுப்புறேன்.
சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல மெசேஜ் அனுப்புங்க. Pratibha,
Yes, sir.
we can give just a vote of thanks to the HOD Tirumala Kumar, two DC members, Dr. Armugam and Jackson, and all others. You give the vote of thanks. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for attending. First of all, I would like to thank our HOD and all the DC members and our guide, my guide, Dr. R. Subramaniam, and all the members of as audience, those who have joined and listened to me patiently. I am very thankful to them. And thank you for attending my PhD Viva, pre-PhD Viva. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Armugam. Thank you.
Kindly attend for lunch. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Jackson.
Sir, thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Arma, sir, thank you so much.
Okay.